Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the NF Twins. Today, we're going to talk about something personal that we experienced, that we listened to. Actually, a great quote from one of the NVIDIA founders. And today's topic is: are programming languages dead, or are they still in the future?
And of course, what is the current status? And yeah, what do we see the future going to be like? So, Mark, what is the current status? Oh, no. Let's start with like basically the quote, right? Well, it's not a quote because it's basically paraphrasing. So, basically, a CEO of NVIDIA. So, for those people who don't know, NVIDIA is right now probably one of the most valuable companies in the world. I'm not sure whether it's number one or two. But basically, what they have been known for, especially for gamers, for their graphics cards, and now recently, well, especially over the last few years, they've been focusing on creating chips for AI. Basically, those chips are used for all the AI processing, and that's why the stock has been exploding. Now, anyways, coming back. So there was an interview recently from the CEO of NVIDIA where he states like, yeah, basically programming is dead, and the new programming language will be English. Because like in the end, like back 10 years ago, like everybody like told their kids, like every parent's like, hey, you got to learn how to program because like if you want to make a good money, you need to learn how to program. And he basically states in the future, this will not be the case because in the end, you will just like interact with AI and then it will program for you. And of course, we are here to like give our own 2 cents on this point. And of course, what is the current status? And yeah, so Mark,
All right.
go ahead.
So first of all, I want to weigh in a little bit on the quote. So actually, it's a short video, like Lucas mentioned, and he goes into details. He said that, like Lucas mentioned, 20 years ago, when they were growing up, the last 15 years, everyone told them, hey, learn languages. Well, sorry, coding languages, because that's the future. And then he said something that I found super interesting, where he says that nowadays, I think I wouldn't do that, because if you still have to learn a programming language, then we failed. This generation failed you guys, because he assumes, or he thinks that with the AI, it's not necessary anymore. So they want to build, like this generation, him and that generation want to build for the next generation, not that they need to have the ability to code, just to have English processing. So they make coding as easy as possible so that everyone can use it.
Yeah. Which totally makes sense because in the end,
Yeah.
it's just like, hey, why would you learn? It's like a language. I mean, it's of course very necessary, but in the end, it's so much better if you can just say, hey, do this and that, and then it will just build it for you.
And
But
actually, so fucking pumped. Like he was also pumped in the video. I get pumped as well because it's an equalizer. Think about it. Now, like before then, it was a skill that was really hard to learn. Not everyone could do it. Now with AI, everything is going to be equalized in that terminology. In that term, like everyone can learn it because it's just typing. You just type in what you want and then it spits it out, right? Kind of. Let's say in the future.
Well, I mean, it's equalizing, but at the same time, it's like you still have to learn English, right? Of course, then
No, but it's
will
not
be
only
also
English. It's like it's natural language learning process, and you can do
yes,
every
but at the
language.
right now, like most of the like it's best AI in English. Like right now, the other
Yeah,
languages are not
but
as well. Of course, they
as
will
well
be like
as yeah.
pushing forward for sure. So I agree on that one. But it's like super interesting. All right, Mark. Now let's come back to the current status. So I mean, I think it's like super interesting because we are currently building an app. And yeah, Mark, tell you from your experience and what is the current status like from no code tools to now? What is the current status?
All right, so okay, quick reminder, guys. So basically, Lucas and I are no coders. We have absolutely no idea about coding. We took a 2-3 months course online once for JavaScript, and it's old school, man. It doesn't count exactly, but the end of the day, it's like a very painful process. You don't see what you're building. It's just like very theoretical. And then there's the next wave that came, no code tools. I just found like a month ago a super sick no code tool. It's called WeWeb, which you can basically do drag and drop everything coding language, amazing. And then you can directly integrate it with a backend, with Xanos, also drag and drop, where you just basically need to think logically and then you can just build it. It's very easy.
Wouldn't that be then considered visual coding? So visual coding is then basically a subcategory of no code tool.
Yes, exactly. That's what they consider it. They call it visual coding, which is super cool, super easy. Like I built basically, I'm almost done with building it within 5 weeks of learning and building a whole app.
Yeah,
so
it's
super
completely
nice.
web app, which is completely crazy.
Yeah, we log in, Stripe, everything in 5 weeks, which just speaks on how good these tools are nowadays. Not about my abilities, but just the abilities of these tools. They're cool, super good. So I think this is status quo. This is the current status, but in the future will be you just say, hey AI, I want to build a web app that has support logos in it. I want to have an integration with Midjourney, please, and people should charge. I want to use Stripe, etc.
My belief is it's gonna be like more like a mix. So basically, you first like set frameworks like where you can click through, right? You can say like, hey, I want to have this structure. Like, so for example, on like templates, right? Let's say you have a template.
Yeah, that's nice.
I think you choose like, because otherwise it gives it too much room to actually like build something. Because it's just like, that's like saying, hey, I want a car. And like on, for example, if you have text to image and you say, I want a car, right? Draw a car, whatever.
Well, you
But
could
have
be
to
like,
more
you
specific.
could have like specific key phrases. You say like, I'm building a SaaS business.
Yes.
And then it knows exactly. They look almost the same. Then you can be like, hey, give me this and this. I want to change this and that.
But I think like for me, I think the step before will definitely be like you have frames, right? Because in the end, it's like, hey, you have something in mind already. So you have like visual options, like for example, the template builders, for example, on Webflow, right? So you have like templates that you can buy, and that's the same thing. And then you just ask the AI to build everything behind it, right?
I mean, yeah, backend as well. I think that's I think okay, one of the things I think is super hard because basically there is some of these tools already for front end, but you can just say, hey, build this, etc., and it's just pretty random.
Really, really nice.
But at the end of the day, if you don't know what the specs are, which I think is still hard to know, if you never built something, you're not gonna know this. So I think templates will be super important because look, I don't know what the fucking I need to have in there. I don't know that the backend needs to have this and that and that. And if you don't,
but you could
know,
say the structure, right? You can say like, I want to have the visual like this, and then just make it work. So then it has to know how to connect everything, or
100%. But just like it needs to have this awareness what needs to connect it, etc. And if you can't specify the specs, it's going to be harder. I think so. Okay, my prediction. I think in the next, I don't know, visual coding would be more and more popular than it is already is. Old school coding might be edge cases. I'm guessing. Well, it'd still be popular, obviously. Because
what time frame are we talking about, though? Like
what kind of what?
What time frame are we talking about, right?
Well, 3 years. I said the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. I
3
guess
to 5.
And 3 to 5, and then afterwards it's going to be more in AI and also AI, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it is super hard right now, and AI seems to struggle with some of it, especially if you think about it. If it's just voice input or something like that, then if you cannot adjust later, it's hard because you can like, hey, redo it.
All right, I'm making a quick reference because we've been working a lot with like text to image prompts in AI. If you, for example, have a very vague input, let's say like, hey, car, whatever, it will most likely generate just different type of versions of it. And I can imagine the same will be for software products. When you say develop this, that everybody gets like whatever the training data was on, like for example, if it's just like these apps, it will look all similar to this, which is not a bad thing. But then you have to like later on, but like
nowadays they all look the same anyway.
Of course, and then you have to like be more specific. Hey, I want to make this, and then you have to work through it. Yeah. And also like for the like functionality, right? Because like I don't know, maybe a chatbot or whatever. So I think it's super interesting. But yeah. Program languages aren't dead yet. I don't think they're going to be dead anytime soon, but I will believe, in my opinion, like AI will enable a lot of people to either work way faster or people who are like don't want to learn for a long time, they like be able to build like certain apps, etc.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it gives the opportunity to everyone, but not everyone will jump on the AI train.
No, of course not. But at the same time, like I believe, right, because right now anybody can build like a drag and drop website, right? But I believe in the future with AI, anybody can build like a web app or something like this. So you can,
for sure, 100%.
If it's like it's not super complex, I think that's really cool. Yeah.
All right, I think that's it, man. I like it. I think the guy of NVIDIA is good. The CEO is a fucking boss, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, for same. And of course,
Team
Mark,
Green.
Before we leave, so everybody, if you like this podcast, we have something, it's not a gentleman agreement, but it's a twin agreement. So if you like this podcast, please share with a friend. And of course, subscribe. And of course, if you like it, 5 stars. And catch you in the next episode. Peace.